This is a quick overview of bullet journaling on the iPad with the Apple Pencil and OneNote. I've used a number of different digital apps to try and bullet journal, and I can't say that I'm a by-the-book bullet journaler. As most of those are in analog format, but I like to try and stay digital, and the iPad and the Apple Pencil are great input devices. So I thought I would try different applications. The first app that I tried was Notability, and I think that was a good all-purpose handwriting app, and I would highly recommend it. It's not a free app, but it does. It's not overly expensive and does a really nice job. But I am using OneNote for almost everything else, so I felt that OneNote can accept handwriting with the Apple Pencil, so maybe I would give that a try and kind of combine applications because I use OneNote for almost everything else. So I'm going to walk you through how I've set up my bullet journal in OneNote. So I'm going to go ahead and open up OneNote on the iPad. And first thing that you'll notice is that I set up a notebook, and OneNote is the paradigm that they use is kind of a traditional paper notebook. And then you have sections, and then you have pages. So those are the first three columns there. And for each year, I've decided to create a bullet journal, although I wouldn't have to do that since in a digital space you have kind of infinite space. You're not going to run out of pages, for instance. But just for organization purposes and to keep things a little bit tidier, I create one bullet journal notebook per year. And then under sections, I found that I kind of gravitate toward three major sections, although since I haven't been doing this too long, that may grow. But I have daily logs, I have notes, and I have collections. So starting from the bottom, collections are simply just little groupings of lists that I want to maintain about different things. So restaurants or wines that I've tasted or blog post ideas. This brings up a great point because bullet journals, one of the big questions I had going in is, well, do you have a separate one for personal and work? And I've decided that it really was difficult to try and keep those separate. So I have a little bit of an internal system to do both within the same bullet journal. Then I have a notes section, and I use that primarily for meeting notes. Can be phone conversations or individual meetings, team meetings, whatever. I will create in my notes section a new page and then begin tracking notes. And normally I'll do that via the Apple Pencil. And then finally, the core of bullet journaling, the daily logs. And as you can see, I've only done a couple of weeks here with OneNote. I had been using Notability, so I've made the switch over, and maybe I'll transfer some of the information from Notability into OneNote if all goes well. But so far, so good. So let me walk you through how I do my daily logs. I'm just going to jump right in here, and you'll notice immediately I have the ability to go full screen. In the upper right, there's a double-headed arrow. I can go on and off to give me a little bit more screen real estate. I also have the ability to set different kinds of backgrounds. So if I click on the gear icon, I can have some options there as far as what account I'm signed into, where quick notes go, syncing, and those kinds of things. But then I also have the ability under view at the top to pick the kind of background or paper style, grid lines, rules, etc., etc. So that's, and then the color, I can do different kinds of color on it. And I just normally use lined paper, just helps me line things up a little bit. But I spend most of my time in the Draw tab, and you'll notice that across the top you have different pens that you can create. And I just have three pens here. I have a blue one, a green one, and a red one, plus a highlighter. The blue one is the one I use for work items, I switch to green if it's a personal item, and I use red for any notes that I'm taking about an item or on that notes section that I showed you earlier. There's the eraser and the highlighter. You can add as many pens as you like. You can change the color of them, the nib size. You have a lot of flexibility here to customize it any way you want. I always name them the same for consistency, daily log, and then the date. This makes it a little bit easier for searching. And at the top, while I'm not a super great artist, I try and add some creativity and one discipline that, and this is maybe something that most people could do, is something that you want to do every week, some kind of habit that you want to form. And for me, I like to include an image that I've taken. Right now, it's images that I've already taken, but what I will do as I move forward is discipline myself and to say I'm going to take an image and do some work on it each week, and I'll post that at the top. So I've left the space at the top for that. Then in this top section here is the area where I have my week's activities. So at the beginning of the week, I'll create this log, and then I will write down those things that are necessary this week. And then in traditional bullet journal fashion, I will do one for each day. And you can see that I've got blue and green items here. So that's the basic layout. One thing I really like about OneNote is that you have the ability to move stuff around very easily. With the lasso tool, if I select that, I can draw a big circle around this, and it simply selects it. Then I can tap and drag this to wherever I want. I can also easily add space. So if I wanted to create a little bit of space between items, I could tap insert space at the top and then simply tap and push down however far I want, and now I've created an area for space. One thing I also like about the draw section is you're really not just limited to the pens. You can easily tap the text mode and tap anywhere on the page, and you will have a keyboard that will pop up, and you can insert text. So you have the kind of the best of both worlds between the drawing features and text. Finally, just an overall comment about the use of OneNote for bullet journaling is that you have all the other features that come along with OneNote. Now I'm using OneNote on the iPad. A lot of the same things apply, let's say on a Surface, where you have the OneNote application as well. You have an insert tab, and you can insert tables, images, take pictures, record audio, attach files, attach printout of files, especially PDFs, links. You can do equations, checklists, emoji, lots of different options for inserting, and then you have all kinds of formatting for text as well. So I really am a big fan of OneNote, and now I think I've found a nice way to keep up my bullet journal in a digital fashion. Another kind of show-stopping feature that is really helpful for me in journaling is the ability to search. And OneNote does a really nice job with its search functionality, where it will do character recognition. So I could actually search for a word that I've written, and it will typically find it. So the search icon is in the upper left. So if I'm wondering where that note was where I was talking to Todd, for instance, I could type in Todd, and it's going to find the instances of Todd, and it's found one here right in my OneNote, and it has highlighted it. So very smart. I don't have the neatest handwriting, but the search capabilities are really nice. Let me close that and go back into text mode. Finally, one of the neat things about this over, let's say, a tool like Notability is Notability restricts your page size. OneNote is almost an infinite canvas, so I can continue to go across the page. So let me just draw, and I can draw some more, and I can keep going infinitely across. And then if I pinch and zoom or spread and zoom, I can go way out and or zoom way in just with my fingertips. So nice functionality there. I think this is kind of a very useful canvas and a great way for me, at least as a novice bullet journaler, to use a digital tool, which I prefer to use with hardware that I already have. So that's my little walkthrough of how I bullet journal in OneNote.